this is what I harvested today morning, and let's see what I got. I planted purple long beans just along my fence with other flowers, and you see it just laying on other plants. This how it look. I have weeds, and this one going to seeds. I let it do it, and you see it's going to my other plants, another seed. And look at this, is very thick, and those are seeds, and they are not really compacted. That's the reason it's long one, but if you want to shell, you won't get that many seeds, despite the fact this is yard-long beans. You see that ant? That's the reason I don't recommend to plant just on the ground. You need to use trellis, because all these ants, it's such a easy target for them. Here is my trellis. No, I still have ants on trellis, but you see they coming, all this pest. But on the ground it will be more difficult. And you see my plants already dying back a little bit. That's because they're already 3 months old, and you do not expect them to produce even if you keep harvesting. Yes, you have to keep harvesting, so they set new fruits, but they still will give up. And let me show you something. For example, this bean, if I won't harvest, this tip might not grow. It will sit or wait. Maybe it will be seed. Why do I need to grow? Let's take a look. For example, this is a long one. Look at, so beautiful. And tip, it just doesn't grow. They don't grow. That's the reason you need to keep harvesting if you want green beans, basically fresh beans, and not seeds. Here's another one. I'm gonna harvest the seeds. That's the reason I let them grow. And this trellis actually was built for my passion fruit, and I'm using it for other stuff too, because unfortunately you see it's very saggy and they barely go on top. It took a while before I saw them coming on. This is the highest point. So what you need to know about this plant: if you wanna really keep harvesting, maybe you need to consider purple color, because it's very easy to notice. Even purple one I was missing. Specifically here I missed several beans, because how you gonna spot them here even if they're purple? Because I have weeds. It's just wild, way too many stuff grow here. And that's not interesting about this plant. You see, this is very bottom, and it's starting to branch out, which is very cool. Look how many branches it has here. You see, but I planted very close. This is literally like 6-8 inch. I have automatic irrigation because I planted around April, May. We didn't have any rains. It was really dry, so I have automatic irrigation. It's not really like, maybe I have 2 emitters or 3 emitters, not that many. Now you see this small plant. So I basically decided to plant more plants, because this one eventually will go up. I'm not sure if I wanna do that, because I have way too many beans already. I just counted, and I have 12 plants on this trellis, and maybe approximately 5 plants along the fence. So it's plenty of plants, and it was way too much for me, because I don't eat so many beans. I just was keep harvesting and cutting and freezing them and then cooking. And keep in mind, this purple color, which actually powerful antioxidants, anthocyanins, go on description and see about this antioxidant. And if you want to get benefits of such antioxidants, you have to eat them raw. When they're young, it's much easier because they still have kind of meat and they are not so starchy, because seeds will be starchy. And that color will fade during cooking, and of course you won't get antioxidants. They do not like high temperature of cooking. And you see my leaves already getting sick. Something, we don't know what this disease, but it doesn't matter, because eventually all plants will get disease. This is already 3 months old. And pay attention on these holes. And for example, new leaves are completely fine. That's because when we have a lot of butterflies flying around and some other pests around June, they were attacked, especially plants next to fence on the ground. I didn't see that many caterpillars here on a trellis. Yes, I have them on passion fruit. I still see a lot of caterpillars, but I didn't see that many on green beans. And unfortunately, I noticed that a long time ago, when you plant anything along your fence, you will have more caterpillar, more pest issue compared if it's gonna be very far from fence. And you see, I'm supposed to have a path here, but I don't have anymore because I have marigold. They're just so happy here, and a bunch of them again. It's gonna be, I'm gonna harvest seeds. And I like this plant because if you don't want to spray anything for caterpillars and you're afraid they're gonna ruin your plant, you can plant marigold next to it because they attract caterpillars. I saw a lot of caterpillars on my marigold plants, but they did survive. But I was keep hand picking them from my plants. But it's already mid-August and I don't have any caterpillars pest issue on my beans. And look at what we got here, and I see it every day. Bamboo shoal very likes all my beans. I have pollination issue my other plants, but here they attract pest like beans. So this variety called red Chinese Yardlong bean. So you see it keep flying here. Definitely likes my beans. And ants, I don't know if you know actually what variety of ants is that. It's big ones, red ones, and I'm struggling to kill them. It's very important because sometimes ants will bring aphids. Specifically that big red ants, I didn't see any aphids issue, but I want to show to you. Here is my Lima beans, and you see they are covered with aphids. This definitely ants bring them, but I don't care about Lima beans because it's not worth growing Lima beans at all, because they won't be so prolific as Yardlong beans. You will get much more from other plants, because here's my Lima bean, and you see like it's setting fruits. I have another variety, but again I'm not really fan anymore, and I'm not gonna plant any more Lima beans because it's beautiful plant actually. If you want to just plant it to have some greens, that's fine. Here for example, Lima beans I planted to make a shade for my pepper plant. You cannot see pepper plant here, but it's there. I have even one pepper. It's just great for making shade for other plants if you don't want to do some artificial, because I didn't like that chair which I put here. I rather do shading with other plants. So approximately I have 15-20 plants, and I will be harvesting around 1 pound per day, so I can easily have 3 pounds maybe every 5 days, which is way too much because I don't eat beans every single day. I froze them, and I probably will get rid of this plant. I already planted cucumber seeds here because I saw this is already trellis, and I will keep using for something else. And eventually I will remove all these beans because I don't think so they're gonna keep producing with such thick leaf. You see, even those leaves are young because size is small, but they're already thick. We have right now so much rain, it's humidity, it's too much for any plant, all these dry leaves. Let me know in the comment section, have you grown this, what kind of question you have, how to grow it. I don't do any fertilization, I didn't do any pest control for this place, only because I don't have time to do all that stuff. But if you see, some new shoots are coming fine, and unfortunately you need to keep putting them on that trellis because you see they just going there, but it's too much for me. I cannot do that, it's very hard. So I will still have occasionally some of them touching ground, but I have cardboard here and it's fine. And I think I covered all the everything about this plant. By the way, if you wanna plant all these seeds directly in the soil, you might not see at least half of the plants because something will eat them before they will even sprout, because I found empty shell here. I have 2 plants, but I planted way more than that. I planted directly 10 seeds because I don't care. I have a lot of seeds. If some of them will not germinate, it doesn't matter for me. But originally I was germinating them in towel, and I planted already seeds with roots, and I had all of them pop up. That's the reason I ended up with so many beans plants. That's the reason. Keep in mind, even people will tell you directly do in a soil like corn, peas, beans. Sometimes we don't see that plant, and you have 2 options. You plant them way too often, more than you expect to show up, basically twice. If you want 20 plants, you're gonna seed 40 seeds if you have that many. Sometimes when you buy seeds, not so many seeds in one package, and I really like when I have the same distance between plants, so I like to know like how many plants I will have. Okay, I'll end here. Thank you for watching. Hit like button, subscribe, share. See you soon.